right, welcome to the Nitty Gritty. We're so excited. We got a fun guest here today.
Taking us a while to get going.
Well, it's because we just had a good warm up. You know, talking about family and whatnot, and friends, all sorts of stuff. We can already tell it's going to be a fun episode because it's just comfortable. It's like we've all known each other forever. I have known Brooke Eliason for. I'm just kidding.
That's the initial. That's the initial pronunciation. That's the OG way to say
See, that's
it.
what I'm saying. That's
You
what
can call me
people use.
Eliason.
I think it's
Eliason.
cool. Eliason, I know. I just wanted to use what we all think when we read it, right?
Hey,
But
Eliason. I
you're
like that.
Female Foodie. That's your
Yeah.
That's your name.
That's my real name.
See, so we met. Man, had to be. I think it was just after the first year of the restaurant. I mean, you only had like 500 followers maybe when we first
Small.
connected on
Small beans.
Instagram, and you came in to eat, and so man, you're killing it. It's
Thanks.
awesome. So Female Foodie,
Female Foodie.
my good friend Brooke, and I feel bad because I didn't invite her.
Andrew.
So, but it just meant that it was meant to be.
That's right.
That you guys connected, Andrew and her connected, and
Just makes
she's
it
in
more
here.
fun.
So this will be a fun one because I get to talk about the world I'm in
Food.
for once, right? None of these really hard-hitting social issues this week.
No.
I don't have butterflies for this one, so that's kind of a nice welcome
we do
break.
have Rice Krispie treats that I cannot wait to eat after.
Yeah, as soon as you hear foil crinkling in the background, you know what we're doing. So, or if you don't hear my voice for a minute, I'm not in the bathroom. I've backed off the mic and I'm eating Rice Krispie treats. So, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Love the show. Super flattered to
Thank
be
you.
here. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So, Female Foodie, where did that come from? It's been what, 6-7 years that you've been going?
So I technically started my blog in 2010. So
Oh, wow.
like this month, it's been 10 years.
Wow.
But it was pretty slow moving at first. Like the first 4 or 5 years were very casual. It was kind of, I don't know if you or your wives ever had one of those, here's what we did this weekend type blogs.
Everybody had.
Yeah.
What were those called?
Theblogspot.com.
Yeah.
The blogger blogs. Yeah. So that's what this was, but it was like a food journal, and it was actually called My Eats, My Thoughts. And as I was just like putting the URL in, Female Foodie came to me in a split second.
Such a
really,
good name.
Yeah. And it's stuck. I like it. I've got,
Way better than, what was the other one?
yeah, My Eats, My Thoughts. Terrible.
Yeah, My Eats,
I've
My
been made fun
Thoughts.
of for that one a lot.
Female Foodie is way better.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how the name came about.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from Bountiful, Utah.
Okay.
Just up the road.
Very exotic.
Okay.
Yeah. Super exotic.
I mean, the food thing, just always loved like recipes, trying food,
Always.
always.
So I've got I come from a content creator family. My mom blogs, my sister blogs. But my mom's always, even before, she started her website in 2008. So
Your mom is a content creator.
and she's always been super into food. And we
Does she do like food content?
Yeah, so she has a website called abountifulkitchen.com.
Oh,
And
that's your mom?
That's my mom. We don't really look alike. She's kind of
I totally didn't
You
know
just
that.
darker
Very-
complexion like
Very
Cam.
normal. Excuse me? Thank you.
So, but anyway, like it's not like we ate out all the time growing up, but a lot of what we did was focused around food, and we went to a lot of Ute games growing up. I know you guys are big Ute fans. And that's when we would like go get food or on vacation. So we were very like focused on always eating great food. So that was the influence for sure. And then once I started school, all of my spare money was going to like trying new restaurants.
Okay.
So
like, did you see your mom start doing that and you're like, oh, that sounds like fun. I want to do my own version of it? Or
yeah, so she got me a lot. She really got me into food photography because she had like the DSLR camera, and she showed me how to get great pictures of food with natural light. And so I kind of just got into food photography and
my mom just got me into like eating food.
eating food. I mean, everyone likes to eat, so
Jeez, I
Stop
hate
looking
going
at
to your
it.
Instagram. I always forget. I'm so hungry.
that's a compliment though.
No, you have awesome content. And you know what's funny? You know how hard it is to see everybody's stuff. Like you really do have to
algorithms.
turn on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm so mad. Like I feel like I've been a bad follower.
It's fine.
But you have such good stuff. And I was just looking at a picture of my new favorite find. Sweet Lake biscuits.
Oh my word.
Holy crap. I would buy that mint.
I don't even know what that is.
The mint limeade
by the gallon.
You don't even know what that is.
No.
I found it on DoorDash. It just popped up under it. So I'm in Highland.
Okay.
And breakfast the other day, it was Ashley's birthday. She was 24-hour pass, right? I was babysitting the kids. Yes, babysitting my own kids.
It's not babysitting.
Shut up.
You're
everyone.
getting smoked for
Don't give a
that.
crap.
Yeah.
It's just a word. Anyway. But it popped up, and I love biscuits. But then I saw the mint limeade, and I'm like, I got to try it. And you know when something shows up to your house 30 minutes later, and it's kind of cold, but it's still good?
Then you know it's really good. Did you get the Haas?
I got the Haas and mint limeade.
Let's paint a picture for you, Andrew.
Unbelievable.
Homemade biscuits, fried chicken, cheese, homemade sausage, gravy,
Today. Gosh dang it.
a little bit of green onion. What else is on there?
So good.
Bacon.
I don't even know. Great bacon. But the biscuit was
Where is
kind of
this
heavier. It's 123rd South.
Yeah,
Draper.
so they have 2 locations.
Okay.
Draper's their newest
Right.
one, and then they have one in Salt Lake too. So.
But this mint limeade, like there's a bunch of fresh mint in it. I mean, straight up leaves. But holy crap, there's turbinado sugar on the bottom. So like the last few sips are...
That's how they started. They started at the farmer's market in Salt Lake.
Really?
Just doing limeades, and then they just kind of...
Really?
It kind of reminded me of Hash House A Go-Go, which is my favorite breakfast of all time in Vegas.
But this is a million times better.
Well,
Because Hash House has kind of gone down.
hold on.
Oh, those are fighting words.
Hold on.
Like, when's the last time you went there?
Like 4 months ago?
Which
Maybe
one?
6 months
Which
ago.
one?
The one out on the real
The
one.
Imperial Palace one?
Yeah.
Okay. I went to the one in St. George in December. And I was
Franchises. you can't-
disappointed.
Yeah.
It was not
surprise
good.
me. Even the one in the casino isn't
Isn't
as good as the one out there on the...
Or are you talking about like the Flamingo Road one?
No, it's out towards like Sutherland,
Oh, okay.
which I think is their...
The OG spot.
But anyway. But okay, well,
We totally
maybe
got
it's
distracted.
quantity. No, she's female foodie. We're talking about
We're talking
food.
food. Fried chicken,
I
waffles.
agree. This is great. So yeah, it was awesome. But either way, it was incredible.
You need to go there for brunch or...
See, and I need
I
to
love
eat
breakfast.
it there because that is the type of food. You know, when you're talking biscuits and fried chicken, you want that stuff fresh.
Yeah.
And I had breakfast DoorDash, so that was kind of cold. And then I ordered it to go like 3 days later because I was driving through, but I didn't eat it for like 15 minutes. So I need to go there one of these days and sit down. So
But you ordered the right thing. You got the best thing.
Oh yeah, and I don't. Once I find something I like, I don't.
You don't deviate.
Nope. I
So
don't
what
even
do you eat in
care.
your own restaurant?
So, I mean, I'm always going to eat brisket. So pretty much brisket and jalapeno cheddar sausage. Those are my
All meat?
go-tos.
No sides?
Well, yeah, I'm not a vegetarian. Just kidding.
But
I like potato salad, mac and cheese. I kind of alternate between those
here's
two.
the trick, though, that I've recently found. You pour the nacho cheese on the brisket.
Oh, a lot of people do that.
Oh
Beef
my
and
gosh.
cheddar.
It
Whoa.
is so good.
You want to know what
Sacrilege.
else? A lot of people like putting the mac and cheese on the brisket too.
Okay.
Or they swap the nacho cheese on swachos and they use mac and cheese.
Okay.
But like,
Actually,
how
I
does the
shouldn't have said
pitmaster
that.
feel about that? That's kind of
know what?
sacrilege. It's like slathering barbecue sauce.
So are drive-throughs, and you know I gotta be able to take my family on vacation. So,
Okay, fair enough.
and that's the thing. Anymore, it's all about the food. I'm getting over that whole like
Or
gold chair.
the other way, the pickle jalapeno sauce combination with the brisket. Ooh, that's really
so
good too.
if I could tell anybody to come here and pick one thing for them, I've actually meant to put this sandwich on the menu and just call it the Bam Bam, but it's fatty brisket. So
Okay.
pepper jack cheese on the bottom,
Okay.
fatty brisket, right? Sweet sauce, and then I cut up the jalapeno cheddar sausage on top. It's a big old sandwich. It is so good. Oh my gosh.
My husband would love that.
It's so good. So yeah, next time you're here, try that.
Okay.
It's amazing. But yeah, enough about me and Bam Bams, Brooke, which you have helped become Bam Bams because you were really one of the first, food bloggers, not the right name, but foodie
Called
people on
an
Instagram
influencer.
to show us
Yeah.
some love. Influencer. Dang it. Yeah, that's the right word.
Well,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
when the food is good, it's pretty easy to talk about it. So.
Oh, I like this episode.
Yeah.
So when you started, were you just reviewing places that you liked, or what were you posting recipes, or like what kind of stuff were you doing when you started?
Yeah, so I actually started in West Yellowstone. Have you guys been up there in Montana before? Right by Yellowstone National Park?
I've been to Montana, but believe it or not, I've never been to Yellowstone.
Oh my
Driven
God.
I have family in Star Valley, and I still have
It's
never
so
been
close.
I've only driven through it once.
there. Man,
So I used to work there like when I was in school in the summer. I would wait tables and
Why up there?
I had a good friend from high school named Melissa that just was like, oh, hey, I made a bunch of money doing this. You should come with me. It was so fun. It is one of my favorite places on the earth, but it's a tiny touristy town. So you've got like 1,000 people that live there year round and like 30 restaurants. Like very disproportionate restaurant to
Park City.
Well, because they have all these tourists that
Right.
come through. So I made this goal, like I'm going to try all of them and document it on my
Okay.
Blogspot blog.
Okay.
So
Eats my thoughts.
my eats my thoughts. Female foodie. So then we would I would just try places and do a super simple write up. And for the first literally 4 years, it was just like it was just a journal.
So were you kind of like a food snob? Like you didn't like to eat certain things?
I've always been that way. There are just certain things I won't eat. Not genres. Like I'll eat any cuisine, any type of food, but like I'd rather be hungry than eat at Wendy's. Or like there's just certain things where
Not Popeyes, right?
I'm sorry.
Oh, come on.
I like-
It's an institution.
I think
It's an instant.
I could probably eat some Popeyes.
I love Popeyes.
But like my whole motto is life's too short to eat bad food.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it's from like a Michelin star restaurant or a taco stand.
You've eaten at a Michelin star restaurant?
I've eaten at a 1 Michelin star restaurant.
Still, that's a big
It
deal.
was-
Especially if it was in
was fun.
America.
It was in Italy.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Dang.
What
But-
does that mean for us people who don't understand? I thought it was like
that's
Michelin
like
tires.
the highest. I think there's a line in Chef. Is that what? No, not Chef. Burnt something. It's Bradley Cooper. Remember that Chef movie?
I didn't
It's
see it.
so good.
I haven't seen it.
Anyway, it talks about he kind of moves into this sous chef's house, who's kind of a newbie, and he's a 3 Michelin star chef, and he was just like,
What's the highest?
3.
Okay.
He's like 1 star is
So hard to get.
is like
Amazing.
Luke Skywalker, 2 stars like Darth Vader, 3 star you're Yoda.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't understand
get a-
because I've never seen a
it's
Star
a real,
Wars.
it's a what? Wait, what?
my
We've
gosh.
talked about this. That's right.
Yeah.
You dude. That's a
Okay, I'll
problem.
break it down for you. A 1 star is like
It's like how many of those are in the U.S.?
not a lot.
Not a lot.
Like
at
Really?
all.
for sure less than 50, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Really?
It's kind of interesting. 'cause-
It's gold share though. It's a pompous thing for sure.
And yeah, it's not. They're not going to give a star to a barbecue
Right.
restaurant. It's more. You
Got a
know,
couple James Beard awards now though.
Yeah. No, I like
Which
the
is
James
good.
Beard Awards.
Well, that's kind of our version, right?
Yeah.
The American version of it. But
Michelin star is pretty swanky and
Okay.
snobby, but fun for once every few years.
For sure.
So
well,
Okay.
and if you can say you're Michelin star like restaurant or chef, it's a big deal.
yeah, you're not
So-
going to ever go out of business, even during
Right.
COVID.
Even during
Even during
COVID.
COVID. That's very true. Usually you can't just like walk into a Michelin star. Like you
Okay.
gotta get some reservations, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So when you started doing all the different restaurants in West Yellowstone, I mean, did you start it with the intention of turning it into a business, or is it more of a this could be a fun thing to do while I'm working here for a summer?
Yeah. Zero intention of business, just for fun.
How old were you?
How old was I?
Yeah.
20.
Okay.
Just turned 30
So, yeah.
this year.
30? You're only
yeah.
30? Lucky.
Lucky. How old are you?
41.
Oh, 40's great.
Not
40's
really.
young.
Have you felt knees and lower backs at 40, Brooke?
I mean, I'm not there yet, but I'll
Yeah.
let you know.
Talk to me when I'm 50.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was zero intention of business or social media or anything, but
Okay.
it's the passion I've always had. And so, what really changed things was getting on social media. And that was in about 2014. And even with like a really small following, it was really cool to see like the community. And, you know, because I'm from Salt Lake and I was living in Salt Lake at the time, people were really stoked about sharing places like Bam Bam's, local places with good
Right.
food. And then people would tell me about awesome spots. And so it was like, there's something to this.
Yeah.
Well, and you kind of got ahead of we'll call it the food revolution in Utah.
Yeah.
Like-
the Instagram. I mean, it's crazy.
and even just more of these like mom and pop shops, like Bam Bam's,
Yep.
right? Like, because I mean, even just 8 to 10 years ago, it was your favorite restaurant was like Chili's or Outback or Olive Garden, like, which we still struggle with in Utah too much. Like, whenever I drive by a freaking Texas Roadhouse or an Outback Steakhouse on a Friday night and I see the amount of people that are waiting to get a
insane.
seat, I just want to like pull over with a bullhorn and just say, pull your heads out of your...
no.
Just kidding.
You're so snooty. Gosh.
It's not snooty. It's just there's a lot of people working their butt off and they're making way better food.
I agree.
You know, and
I
maybe
agree.
maybe a part of it is just because I know how their food's being prepared. Not that there's anything like wrong or unsafe. It's just, I mean, there's nobody in there cooking food.
But you know
it's
how
all
it
pretty much
tastes.
done for you, right? And it's just, yeah, there's just nothing fresh or, I mean, I do like a bloomin' onion, but yeah, there's just so many good restaurants now, right?
So many good.
Like
I
Utah
mean,
really is catching up,
even just like in Utah County, 20
Right.
years ago compared to now, so much. So
right?
So like from 2010 to 14, before the social world, whatever I'm trying to say, how often were you posting and doing reviews and stuff? I mean, was it something you did pretty
like
consistently?
once a
Okay.
month, once a couple times a month. But yeah, the Instagram is really what like kickstarted it. And then it was fun. It was kind of a game, like,
Yeah.
growing followers, trying all these places. And then 2015, I tried to get strategic. I kind of dialed into like analytics. And then in like 2016, I brought on contributors. And then I started doing guides, which is pretty much what we do now. We don't do a lot of
Do a
individual
lot of like
write-ups.
top 10s.
Yeah.
And you were so consistent.
Before COVID.
No. I mean, like back in the day, like when you were really getting going,
Yeah.
like I really could tell that this was a serious thing for you because it was just
Churning out lots of content.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. For me, it's really fun. It's my passion. I love eating out. I don't really tire of it.
Do you cook ever?
Yeah. All the time.
I mean, I would imagine. I don't know many people that are really into food and don't also cook. I'll bet you're a really good cook
I mean,
because you do have a very snooty expectation.
Snooty.
Right?
So like, would you rather cook a meal or go out to eat?
I'd prefer to go out, but I think we've all been there when we've been like on the road for a week and we're like, I just want to eat something
Totally true.
simple. Yeah.
Yep. Right.
So, and I've actually started a segment since the whole coronavirus. I've been doing a restaurant inspired recipe series.
Oh, that's cool.
We don't have a brisket recipe on there.
Well, let's go.
So
Should have
We
come to
need
my
to, like-
class last week. Dang it. I had to teach 3 of them because they would only let me have 15 people per class. This bull crap.
Wow.
What is but backing up? What is simple? Like, what is simple to you? Like, you just want to go home
Cooking?
and eat a simple meal after, I'd be very interested to hear
Simple.
what,
Our version of simple is very different.
I mean,
like a crepe and
no, not something,
kidding.
just like a good homemade sandwich or
Right.
something that I just like, because when you eat out a lot, you feel like there's a lot of fat. There's a lot of,
Right.
It gets heavy for
it gets
sure.
heavy. So just something, I don't know.
just lighter,
Yeah. Like
homemade.
homemade.
Right.
Bowl of cereal sometimes does the soul good.
Ooh, what's your favorite cereal?
Honey bunches of oats.
Interesting. It gets soggy so
I got judged
fast.
so hard.
I totally judged you.
They need
Their
to make-
eyebrows went up like, whoa.
It's a great cereal. It just gets soggy too fast. They need to thicken the flake a little bit.
Thick and flake. What
Yeah.
are your favorite cereals?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, obviously. It's the greatest
The
cereal
new
ever made.
s'mores. Oh my gosh, it's so
Oh.
good.
Oreo cereal's good too. I tried that.
Too sweet.
No, it's funny you say that because I am noticing, like 5 years ago, I could drink a Big Red every day. Like I'm struggling to get through it. I love Big Red, but I really am getting to the point where things are too sweet.
I like
That
sugar
scares
though.
me a
Don't
little
get me
bit.
wrong. I can like
Yeah, but-
eat a lot of sugar,
but
in cereal.
Sugar is okay, but we're talking like high fructose corn syrup, like hyper sweet stuff, which is what everything is. And it gets old,
Yeah.
but I'm still fat. I don't get it. I'm not eating nearly as much sugar. Maybe it's the not exercising thing.
So when you started kind of taking it more serious at that point, like when did you know, okay, this is going to be a business?
I think probably 2015, 2016. It's when I married my husband, and he has a degree in business, and he works for, I call it a startup, but it's not a startup anymore because he's been with them for like 5 years.
Microsoft.
Not, yeah. Facebook. No, he works with a tech business out of the Bay Area, and so he does operations for them, but he has the entrepreneurial mindset, and so he gave me a lot of ideas. I'm kind of the more, here's the content I want to create, and he's like, well, how do we scale this, and how do we,
That's a good marriage.
It's a great marriage,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it is always interesting to be passionate about something. It is really hard to balance, kind of like what you were saying earlier about the whole, sacrilegious or what, I don't know what you use. Just like, what? You can't put mac and cheese on the brisket. That's, but I mean, yeah, it is. When you're really passionate about something, it really can get in the way of being able to make a living off of it, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel like you have to hold a certain standard or be a certain way, but
You need the two.
Totally right.
Have you read the E-Myth? Have you guys read the E-Myth?
Yeah.
Your business owners. They talk about how there's like a few different roles, right? You have to have. There's like, what is it? I mean, this is so boring. People don't want to listen to this, but the
we
point
are a
is,
business inspired podcast, Brooke. Okay.
okay. It's the technician, right?
Yep.
The mechanic
Mm-hmm.
and the entrepreneur. So it's for me, it was a good way to see like there are different parts of a business that are crucial. You need all of them, but one person probably can't do all of them.
No,
and so
it's really hard to do them all, for sure.
So he's brought in a lot of innovation and just ideas of like, how can we take something you love and turn it into a business? And that's what we've been able to do. You know, it's 2020 now, and I'm actually a certified speech language pathologist.
Really?
I like stuttered over that. Yeah. But did not say that very well.
I didn't even notice that. We can redo it if you want.
No, it's okay. I'll own it. But you know, when my son was born 2 years ago, like I haven't gone back to work since, which is, you know,
You were working in that field then?
Yeah, I was working in a hospital
Okay.
in Texas. We were in Texas.
So you were doing that and then just doing the Female Foodie when you had extra time?
Yeah, exactly.
But still work.
Well, but
It's
we
tough
didn't
to
have a
work.
kid. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, we did have extra time. I have one kid. I'm a lightweight. And I'm like, there's no extra
Listen,
time.
1 and 4 are the same.
It's not
Like,
true.
okay, you're right. You're right.
It's not true.
Well, yeah, you're right. I think
Time-wise,
1
though?
and 2 maybe are the same, but it's interesting because we took a break. So we had 2, then took 5 years off. It's kind of nice because the bottom 2, we have gophers, right? Like we have the older kids, like, go get them this, go get them that.
That's nice.
So it makes it a little easier. But I would say the first kid is the hardest by far because 1, you're new, and 2, you care a lot. Like you'll notice the second, third, you just
does
don't.
that go away?
Yes.
over
Yeah,
time?
you
Just
totally-
whatever,
Great.
drink out of the
you
gutter.
totally
I don't
stop
give a
caring
crap.
about stuff.
So yeah. Anyway, so 1 is stressful,
Yeah. Well, and it's a time thing.
right?
So anyway, yeah, it's been cool to not have to go back to work. Like I have that education. I have that as like a,
Well, and
I
one of the
wanted to, but
best sayings is do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life, right?
yeah. And
Does it
that's
still
good for me.
feel that way for you? Like, does it? Because there are definitely days in here, like I'm doing what I love and I can't imagine doing anything else. But there are certain days where it's just like, this
Oh,
sucks.
yeah.
Like, because I cook the same thing every day, and it can get old. Like, has that happened for you?
Yeah, no, this week I had to like switch web hosts. I'm doing a search engine optimization audit on my site. So I have to like
Let SEO
SEO.
in the biz. I'm just kidding.
I don't want to assume, you know,
Right.
but those are the things that it's like not very fun. You know, I love my team. They're awesome, but like managing them.
Did you ever
Isn't
think
fun
you would
sometimes.
say my team? Like, did you ever think when you were first starting Female Foodie
No.
that you'd get to that point?
No.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Right?
And they're amazing. Like I'm type A. I didn't want to do it. My husband's like, come on, you know, let's scale. Let's find other people in other cities. And I was like, no.
So what is that? Like the other on your site, you call them the other foodies. So what have you done? Just like reached out to other people similar to you, or like how does that work?
Yeah, I just have basically opened applications at different times. And then people will email me a sample of like the content they can create. And
Okay.
I basically am trying to find people that are a lot like me in different cities. People that can write about food, take pictures of it, and people that are just obsessive about eating out.
Okay.
Because as much as I love like Utah or wherever, Texas where we were living, there's a big world
For sure.
out there. So.
And so are they all contributing to what you're posting then? Or do they all kind of have their own, like, I don't know, they all, it's like under the Female Foodie brand, but they're doing their own thing?
More so that sometimes we'll collaborate together on posts. Like we actually do have a couple cities where we have multiple contributors.
Okay.
So, which is nice because it is hard to, sometimes you need some reassurance with a food opinion. Like how good was this place? Or do we rank this restaurant a number 7 or a number 3?
We
Or
could all be biased, right?
yeah.
It's hard to be or not to be subjective.
Well, and we try not to be biased. Like we actually starting this year decided we're paying for every dime of all of our food.
Interesting.
So we don't take any comped meals anymore.
Really?
Which like I'm sure you have opinions about. Like
if
influencers, bloggers.
it just depends. Like I feel like, yeah, I think if they message me and say we want to come in and say, we just want to try your whole menu and just kind of expect it because of who they are. Yeah, that's annoying. But if I'm out there and I look them up and they're legit, like, obviously you love what you do. And so I guess it's just like anything else. If people don't, once they expect it, that's when I'm out.
Yeah. And I think if I owned a restaurant, I think influencer marketing is amazing. I would reach out to everyone and I'd be like, come get a free meal. But for me, the issue was the more free meals I took, the more like biased it made me because you feel like your food's great,
obligated.
Cam. Your food's amazing, but you go to a restaurant where they give you a free meal and it's not good. It's like, oh shoot.
Right.
Like, how do you write an honest opinion about something you really didn't like when they gave it to you for free? Yeah.
And we just don't share negative reviews because I did that a couple times and it made me feel terrible.
Right.
Because especially like it's not like we live in New York, like in a Salt Lake City, it's like you write a bad review.
Small town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Well, it's just take a book out of Guy Fieri's deal because you can tell. If you watch a few episodes, you can tell the ones he actually likes.
Right.
And the ones he's just going through the motions on, right?
Sure.
But that is a hard thing. And it's the same reason I don't hire like a plumber that's my friend. Because if he gives me a good deal and screws up, I can't get mad.
Not worth it, yeah.
Right? And so, no, I think that's a pretty cool, especially if you go in not talking or not letting them know. Because that's the other thing. People will message me and say, we're coming in at this time. And of course, we're going to like
the best cut of
lay out
brisket
the
on their
best
plate.
stuff. Like I'm going to build a tray. It's the same as all these stupid best of. Like best of state. Like I have news for everyone. It's pay to play.
Oh, I know that.
Like it's either how big your social media following is. Did you buy a table at the gala? Like there are no real, like blind taste test. Your food is all that matters. Best of lists out
Except
there.
For female.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the ones that like, because people put it in their like ads, right? Like we're best of state.
Right.
And it's like we gave away 100 free meals to get people to get online and vote for us type of thing. And anyway, so that's the type of stuff that matter, at least to me as a restaurant owner. Like I want people like you telling me we're in the top 10 because you came in, ate the food, didn't ask for anything for free. I didn't know when you were coming. And that, that's a big deal.
And it was so good.
So what was the hardest thing about like getting started with it?
I mean, honestly, like money, which I did take a ton of free meals like in the beginning because when you're a student.
Absolutely.
And so I don't like have regrets. I feel like I was resourceful. Like I'd reach out to people and say, hey, do you want to do an exchange for social media coverage for a meal? So money was.
See, even that, you're doing it the right way. It's amazing how many people make it sound like I'm being blessed. Yeah. For them coming here to eat. You know what I mean?
I'm going to grace you with my presence.
Like, hey, I'm going to come in, like, I'll do a post for you or whatever. Just give me all this stuff and okay. But to talk about how it benefits both parties, like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So, like, I did a lot of that. And then, gosh, what was the question?
Like, what was the hardest thing about getting going?
Yeah, I think just eating out more. but we, contributors helped. We actually lived on the road for a year and a half. So we ate out a lot. Yeah, that was...
Why did you do that?
We lived in Texas for a year and decided not to stay. Our lease was up. And we had a few options, like stay in Texas. I mean, Utah was a fallback for sure. And then my husband's like, should we put our stuff in storage and just travel for a while?
I love it.
Yeah,
More
this
people
was
need to do
October. And it was like, let's try it through the end of the year. But it ended up being like almost a full year and a half. So
Really?
that was a lot of content.
So like, where'd you guys go?
Cool.
And was it just that did you have a child at the time?
We had a child.
Oh gosh, no, thank you.
Oh, you did that with the child?
With the child.
You're crazy.
We just finished in January this year. But
See, I don't understand. So many people that's like loving traveling with kids with me. It is not
Sucks.
fun. It is not fun. No, thank you. Like, I love going on vacations, but I love coming home with the kids and getting them back in the house and the routine. Like, something about like being like that
It's
gives
not
me
even
so
a
much
vacation.
anxiety. Just like thinking about being on the road with the kid.
you guys know Abby. You had her on your show.
Yeah.
She posted the other day. It's what did she say? It's a trip with your kids. It's a vacation without.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Amazing.
oh yeah, that's
It's very
so true. But like for us, it was like, okay, we can't leave our child with someone for
Of course.
months.
Yeah.
Of course.
And we want to have more kids, so it's going to just get more expensive and
Yeah.
harder. So we did a lot of months at a time in places, because on Airbnb, if you rent a place for a month, it's way cheaper than like a week. So we did like a month in Montana, Seattle, Portland, LA, San Diego.
Jeez.
We ended up going to Europe all last summer.
Wow.
It was really fun.
What was your favorite place you went to while you were on the road?
For sure, Italy.
Really?
Yeah, we spent 2 months in Italy. I totally got my husband on the Italy train too.
My wife
Where in Italy?
My wife hasn't been able to get me on that train.
Oh,
Italy
We
was
love to
pretty
travel, and
nice.
she wants to go to Europe so bad. And I'm just like,
go to Italy.
because she did a study abroad in Italy, so she was
Really?
there for
I like that they call it study abroad.
6 or 8 weeks.
Party abroad.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, we were in Rome for a month and then Bologna for a month.
Wow.
It was really fun. It was hot. We were there in June
Yeah.
and July, but it was really fun. So yeah, that was a lot of content.
Is that how everything kind of started taking off? Is when she hit the road?
No, I mean, I feel like that helped, but I think it was maybe like the year before then, just creating a brand where people knew like, oh, if we're in these certain cities, we can come to it, know where to eat. And now, we have different streams of revenue. So the obstacle is not going out to eat. It's just trying to produce more. Now the obstacle is
Finding new places to eat?
it's the coronavirus.
Oh,
So
no kidding. I'm over it.
yeah, we don't have to talk. I keep like bringing that up. I'm sorry. We can talk about something else.
No,
But,
there's nothing wrong with I mean, it's it dominates all of our lives right now. So talking a little bit about it, it's not a big deal. But yeah, people have to understand, like restaurants, for everybody, but it's
so
tough.
What have you done to kind of pivot a little bit then with Corona?
Or work around it.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing has been sharing the restaurant inspired recipes.
Okay.
I was feeling really bad for myself, like not being able to go out to eat, because that's what I do as a mom too. I'm like, okay, it's 10 o'clock.
Whatever, you're big enough. You
What
can
are
get
we?
snuck in. Just like, hey, I'll come over.
Oh
you
my
gotta let
gosh.
me in.
Let me in. No, but that's what I'm the kind of mom that needs to like leave the house, go do stuff. And when it was like, you can't go to Target, just leisurely, right? Or you can't like go eat out. My mom was like, you should start doing restaurant inspired recipes. And so when we were like truly quarantined, like,
Right.
I don't want to make this like controversial, but when people were like really at home all the time for those
Right.
first couple months, I did a restaurant inspired recipe every day. So I'd either like create a copycat at home or I'd ask a chef to share a recipe with me. And I demo them on Instagram stories.
Were they open to sharing recipes, or were some of them kind of like, no, you can't have that?
It's really split. So I feel like either half of them are like,
The half
This
that
is my
won't share
trade.
douches.
they're like, it's my trade secret, which I totally respect.
No, it isn't. Let me tell you why. It's all
we're
about-
waiting for you to talk.
It's all about it. I feel bad for cutting off your
No,
deal,
I
but-
want to hear.
So
I
it's
want to
funny.
hear
So I teach classes. I've taught classes forever with barbecue, and a lot of my students in this last class were really surprised because I just give them my rub recipes to in here, which so many barbecue guys are just like, You know, they'll say a few things that are in it, but then they won't tell other people, as if the rub makes perfect meat. Like,
Right.
give me a break. But it's amazing because I teach exactly how I make my brisket in here. But the difference is I've cooked a couple 100,000 briskets. Like, I could tell you step by step what I do, and you are not going to be able to cook as good as me. Like, just because of an experience. And so, yeah, I've always found that really funny because it's not like anything out there right now is like reinventing the wheel necessarily.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree. It's like Aaron Franklin, for example.
Right.
He's got a cookbook with literally everything, but then you have like Shake Shack and they're like, oh, here's our Shack sauce recipe, but it's not, it's like 80% of the recipe. It's like,
Right.
people are still going to go to Shake Shack.
Yes.
100%.
If anything, when they make like your rub and
Every time they look at it, they're going to think about you,
well,
right?
every time they try to smoke a brisket at home, they're going to be like, it's better at Bam Bam's.
Right.
They're going to,
Totally right.
so I think,
Not to mention the convenience side of it, right? Like,
yes,
it may be more expensive at Bam Bam's, but I don't have to cook for 14 hours at my house to have one meal.
which we've done. We still haven't perfected the brisket, but
It's a tough
that's
one.
a different story. But yeah, so that's my opinion is I think it only strengthens your brand and your following because
Totally
people
agree.
have more respect for what you do.
I agree with
And
that.
then they want to try like the original. Right?
Right.
It's
Well,
like you guys
and
talked
you-
about what is it? Hash a go-go? I don't
Hash
know.
hash.
I don't even know what
Hash
the crap
house.
it's called.
How dare you? Just kidding.
But like you guys are talking about, no, you got to go like to the original one, where
Right.
you know, I mean, it's the same idea, right?
Same thing,
So you
yeah.
can try a recipe, but it's like I want to go and
Right.
get the
Everybody
real
has
stuff.
different cooks. There's so many different elements in cooking that, I mean, a chef may be able to produce something in the kitchen laid out the perfect way, right? But you try to replicate that somewhere else, you might not get the exact same ingredients or brands that he uses or whatever, or a local farmer, whatever.
Different climate, yeah.
There's so many different variables. So just sharing a recipe, like people that aren't willing to do it's interesting. I don't get it.
Do you have restaurants like reaching out saying, "Here's our recipes. Will you feature them?"
Actually, no one has done that yet, which kind of surprises me.
Interesting.
But yeah, I've done a lot of the reaching out myself, and it's pretty split. It's either, hey, we appreciate the gesture, no thanks, or
Right.
yeah, here you go. Like,
Right.
we know we can make it better, but here's our recipe. You know, not like in a negative way, but just with confidence.
They do it every day. Like it's how they make their living. So yes, they are gonna. You may nail it once, you know what I mean, but to get brisket's a great example. Like every brisket is so different, and so to be consistent. Now try cooking brisket the way I do and do 60 of them in one day.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And it's just, then you're screwed. So it's not sharing recipes is, it's maybe a little different. Like if I am reaching out to you and saying, post this recipe. But if somebody asks, yeah, but I used to be that way.
It's abundance and scarcity. Everyone goes through it.
Right. No, it's true. But do you know what I bet it is? I'll bet 90% of that half that won't share recipes are just too scared to admit that
They got it from someone else.
or it's like really easy, or they use something in it that they don't want somebody to know,
Yeah.
or they use a microwave, or something like that where they don't want to
Maybe.
be exposed. So anyway,
So what's like the most fun of your account now? Like what's the best thing that you're doing? I mean, is it still just exploring new restaurants and trying something you never tried before, or at this stage you've tried so many different things it's just kind of like, I just want a good meal and there's nothing really new or exciting?
No, I feel like, gosh, we're just getting started.
for
But
sure.
I feel like for me personally, just on an individual level, no, I don't feel like I'm like capped with food. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like the more, it's kind of like travel. You get the bug. The more you travel, the more you want to travel. The more you eat, the more you want to eat.
Totally right.
So
I mean, we only travel where there's good food.
of course, don't go to like Wales. We went there. Not a lot of good food there.
That-
So true. Probably everything's just bland. and
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Boring.
like London has great food, but like
Sure.
we went on that trip. My husband was like, you're going to have a hard time finding good food in England. And I was like, I can find good food anywhere.
Right.
We cooked most of the time on that trip.
really?
Christine,
Yeah. I shouldn't say that. I'm going to offend your English
do we have
following.
English
but-
listeners?
Probably two.
Sorry. Sorry.
You got to say it in an accent.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. They have the best soccer league, though.
Yeah, they do.
So there you go.
They have a lot of good things, but
Right.
like English food.
Oh, yeah.
So what's your favorite breakfast food?
That's a
Oh my
good
gosh. Well, I
question.
just thought of that biscuit with fried chicken because that's what my mind went to. But
The Haas.
I don't know. I love breakfast food.
That's my favorite food. That's why.
What's your favorite child?
I could tell
Easy.
you that.
Oh my gosh.
You only have one. You don't know yet. Just wait.
Oh no.
I love them all equally, but I don't like them all the same.
Oh my gosh.
They're not listening. It's okay.
Okay.
Actually,
I don't know.
do say that sometimes, but
Like a good eggs Benedict.
Okay.
I love a good breakfast sandwich. Like perfect.
Like a McDonald's egg
No,
McMuffin.
no.
shut up. Sausage McMuffins are still kind of good. It's a nostalgia thing.
I still have them.
They do overcook the eggs too much, though.
My husband and I hiked Temp last weekend.
Okay.
And we got up at 4:30 a.m. to come meet family. And I like scrambled eggs, put it on toast with cheese because he wanted McDonald's. And I was like, no, I'll wake up 10 minutes earlier so we can have like a good breakfast.
Listen, if it wasn't for McDonald's, a lot of places you eat at wouldn't even exist.
Yeah.
They
probably.
made like eating out more of an.
That's true.
So I think we could thank McDonald's in a way.
Okay,
right?
but like when's the last time you had a Big Mac?
Probably like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I love. It's funny.
I think McDonald's is disgusting. I'll have their breakfast sandwiches, but like my family,
a McGriddle, a sausage.
gross, so
Oh,
gross.
come on. Who doesn't mix their pancakes and their sausage and eggs? You know, it's funny. Like a lot of people that cook for a living, you'd be surprised. Like a lot of them eat bad food because they spend so much time cooking that when they want to eat, it's usually just quick and easy.
But like you're a barbecue extraordinaire. Like, would you eat a burger from McDonald's? Like a cheeseburger?
I mean, listen, if it's
Breakfast is different.
between a Big Mac and like going to a good like Five Guys, I'm sorry, but Five Guys is. I mean, around here, there's not that many great burgers.
I'll eat Five Guys.
I love Five. I mean, it's no contest, right? But now we got to factor in the convenience
Yeah,
side of
you're
it.
like in.
And if you grew up with it, you know, like I grew up in Southern California, and McDonald's was just such a like everybody just went, and so there are times where I'll eat McDonald's, and every time I eat it, I'm just like, why did I go there? But
But you go back.
I go back.
Yeah, I actually have to be really careful. I know that I feel like super comfortable here, but food is so personal.
Oh, for sure.
So where I get into trouble, it's not usually McDonald's. Like most people that are into food aren't going to be offended if I say I don't like McDonald's.
100%.
But like I actually rely on my community a lot when I'm going to a new place. And I cannot tell you how many times I've had like 8 people send me to a place and I'm like, okay, 8 people said this place is amazing. It's great. And I don't like it. And I've just stopped saying things because when I like St. George is a perfect example. St. George is a family destination, not a lot of good food.
No good food.
But if you tell someone I don't like the pizza factory and that's where they go every year with their family since they were 3 years old, they're going to shoot you on the
Brick
spot.
oven,
Yeah, because
Los Hermanos. But it's kind of like my McDonald's argument, right? It's you grow up there. There's something about it.
nostalgic.
It's a nostalgic
It's
thing.
a tradition.
And you know, there is no wrong or right with food. You like what you like. It will always be subjective. But
is.
I do get the whole. I mean, once you start eating like better food and you start appreciating what work goes into it, yes, there's a huge difference between going to McDonald's or even just Five Guys. Like none of your food gets cooked until you order it at Five Guys, and that is a massive difference between McDonald's, even though it's still considered, you know, fast casual or fast food. But yeah, I get it. I don't think anybody cares. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Just if you say that you like something or dislike something,
people care.
well, it's because it's on social media, huh? Everybody
oh my
gets pissed
gosh,
about
I
something.
disagree. People care.
Well.
Like the pizza factory, that's a good example. I'm probably going to get some death threats now. But
Isn't that interesting? Because pizza is probably my favorite food. Like,
have you had that pizza?
of course, I don't. I'm with you.
It's bad.
I'll eat the things on the sticks that are pretty good.
The breadsticks. Yeah, the breadsticks
yeah, those
aren't
are
bad.
good. But
So what's your favorite pizza?
ooh, that's hard. There's
Both
not
of
a
you.
lot of great pizza
Settebello.
around here.
What?
In Salt Lake, Settebello.
I haven't even heard of
It's
that place.
Neapolitan.
Okay. That's
It's really
that's
good.
too fancy for me.
I want to go there.
Yeah,
I just had halfway decent pizza there. Summit Pizza.
Oh yeah.
It was okay.
My buddy's dad owns it.
but I don't. There's no like. I like Papa John's pizza. Like if I have to pick a chain, that's where I'm going. But there's not really any like mind blowing pizza places around here.
Yeah, I think like the Salt Lake area needs like a really good like New York style
Right.
pizzeria or something that's like, it doesn't have to be like authentic Italian, something like nostalgically cheesy and family
What about
friendly.
like the pie? Do you like that?
I'll eat the pie. I wake up feeling ill every time after I
they
eat the pie. The
You
garlic.
do a lot of cheese and garlic at that place,
I-
but it is.
I have a
I still like
hangover.
it.
What about Giordano's in Chicago? Do you like the deep dish, the Chicago?
Oh, I've only been to Chicago's. See, I need a speech therapist. I've only been to Chicago once, and I had pizza, and it was great. But it's been like 6
Listen,
years.
hold on. It is time for some Chicago content. That is a top
Yes.
I know.
3 food town in this whole country.
Best steak I've ever had was at
Oh.
Michael Jordan Steakhouse in Chicago.
Steak, I mean,
So
everything
good.
there. Chicago, it's like going to the South. Any good food place, but Chicago has so much good food.
It's probably like top 3, top 5, like best.
Right.
Yeah.
So why haven't you gone?
Because I have a contributor.
Oh, okay.
Well, so go out there and eat with that person. You got to
Yeah,
experience
I
Chicago.
will.
That would
I
be
need
a
to.
good like
Don't let them
1
rob
week
you of that.
1 week trip to just eat, because there's some really cool like little old joints that so many people haven't heard of. But oh man,
So do you have like a
Amazing.
list of places that you want to get to? Like a bucket list, if you will?
Like cities?
Uh-huh.
Oh, of
Or,
course.
restaurants.
Oh, yeah. I have organized lists,
You do?
spreadsheets. Yeah.
What's your number one? Like, what is your like? If you could, like, obviously, money's. I'm sure it's expensive. Money's not an issue. Travel's not an issue. If you could choose somewhere tonight, where are you going?
Oh, if money's not an issue, it would be a Michelin star restaurant.
Okay,
It would be
sure.
either the French Laundry.
oh, Mr. Keller.
Yeah.
So do you know I used to have an employee that worked there?
Really?
Yep.
Where's
She
this
won
at?
some big Napa Valley.
Yeah.
She won some big. She's a chef. Some big competition for like culinary arts in college.
Okay.
And for winning it, you got to pick any restaurant in the country, and you got to work there for 6 months.
And she picked the French Laundry.
Yep.
I mean, it's like one of the most popular restaurants, well-known restaurants
He's
in the
a
world.
huge chef. Like
How
Thomas
much is that?
Keller
Like, how much are you going to spend?
I think I looked up the cost once. It's like food only $300 a person for like a
And you're
basic,
probably a
basic
year,
tasting.
6 months to a year to get in.
It's like pretty hard to get it a
Okay.
reservation. Yeah. So that would be one. I mean, I don't know. It depends
See,
on
I
the
think
city.
you just going around here. I mean, can you imagine just getting dropped in Paris and just having? I mean, you like that stuff? Do you like fine dining?
anything.
You like
I like it all. I like the street tacos.
Right.
I like the barbecue. I can think of a few other places like I don't know. It depends on the city, but that would be like a once in a lifetime.
Okay.
Like
French Laundry would be a cool experience. That's for sure.
there's some barbecue places I haven't tried that I want to like. Even
I'll tell you which ones to go to.
well, we never made it to Snows.
I've never been to Snows.
That was like
Believe
a
it. Snows would be amazing. It's amazing. It would be amazing
Yeah.
to go there. Just because that's one of those places that even if the food's not that great, it's
Is it not
such an
that great?
experience. No, I'm saying even if you were to go and it wasn't,
it's an
it's
iconic
obviously a
barbecue
very good
restaurant.
barbecue restaurant. But yeah, I mean it's such a cool place.
Is there a restaurant you went that surprised, like, I don't know, like that surprised you? Like, I didn't think this was going to be good and end up being like really good. Like, does that happen very often?
Both ways. I want to know
Both.
both directions.
sure.
Yeah.
I would say both equal. I put so much effort into researching restaurants that I would say 60 to 70% of the time we eat really well.
Right.
And then usually the 20 to 30% of the time I'm like, it's okay. I would never send anyone here. And I have pictures of it and no one ever sees them or hears about it.
Okay.
Right.
What was something you ate though that was like surprisingly good that you weren't expecting to like as much as you did?
Gosh, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is this little place in San Diego called Los Cuatros Milpas.
Okay.
Super hole in the wall, cash only. They handmade their tortillas. That's a hard question. I've probably eaten it like I just
was gonna
did
say.
my taxes. I had to itemize every single expense for every restaurant. I probably last year ate at 300 restaurants.
I mean, think about
Maybe
that.
more.
Eating out is just total write off for you, huh?
It is. It's materials and
I
supplies.
mean, I guess everybody can use it, but
Research and development, R&D.
yeah, wow.
Because, if you're like just taking a client to a meal, that's different.
Yep.
They're
They
not
don't
like,
need to know that.
Materials and you're a restaurant owner. Anything's
That's
a
true.
material and a supply
That's very
if
true.
it could potentially be a menu item.
Amen. R&D, baby. I like that. That's good.
Do you have
idea.
any desire to start a restaurant? Do you have any desire to do that?
I feel like I have a lot of good ideas, but I've worked in a restaurant. Like I waited tables, I've managed, and so I'm kind of like, what I'm scared of is all the people you would have to hire and trust.
Right.
The under
That's the hardest part of owning a
18-year-olds,
restaurant all day long.
letting them man your till, like I can't tell you how many times I've had bad customer service, and I'm like, I know the owner's amazing,
Right.
but they hired this 15-year-old or whatever.
Well,
It's doing a
nowadays you're
terrible
just
job.
lucky to get anybody. Like it's every year it gets harder. Nobody wants to do anything that's like dirty or hard.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to hire good people right now.
My-
At least in those types
Yeah.
of jobs, right?
Yeah, it's not because it's not like you're paying people like 30 an hour, right?
Right.
It's, like when I was a host, I was getting paid like 10, 12 bucks an hour tips. When I was a server, I was getting paid like $2 something an hour. Serving, I think you can have a little more leverage with who you hire. And then, my husband, he totally is like, let's open a restaurant. His dream is to open a barbecue restaurant.
Oh,
Really?
And I'm like, you have a hard time waking up before
Yeah, tell
7
him to
o'clock.
come hang out for a week and
Yeah.
we'll change his mind.
If you like, what time do you wake up?
I mean,
You're
so
like smoking?
I've got it down since we cook inside. I don't have to start as early, but the days I cook, I'm up at between 4:30 and 5. But my other cook, he wants to be done by 9, so he's here at like 2:45.
That's insane.
And so, but in Austin, I was there at 3 a.m.
That's
if-
standard, don't you think?
Totally standard. Like if you're using an offset pit, I mean, it takes an hour and a half just to get that thing heated up, right? So you got to get there and build your fire and do all that. And so it's crazy.
So I'm just curious on the restaurant thing. Would you rather have like a really high end exclusive or something that a ton of people would come and enjoy?
Way rather the other end. I just think like you have to be a special breed to want to cater to like the swanky population.
Sure. Well, and they're the ones getting hit the hardest with all this COVID stuff because they run on such slim margins.
Well, and like even for me, it's like I'm way less inclined to want takeout from a really nice place.
For sure.
But like with barbecue, I'm like, great.
Right.
This will taste so good
Yep.
in
Like
10 minutes
all those
at home.
places that are just, I mean, it's like reservations, sit down, they're screwed. I mean, it's just, you have no way of, I mean, some of them have pivoted and, because that's the thing, if you've got a reputation like that and all of a sudden you post that we're going to do carry out, like you can call, people are going to do it if they can, but it's
harder.
there's a whole level of like snootiness, right? It's like, I can't go there. Like it takes 4 months to get into this restaurant. You think I'm going to do carry out?
I will say it's been cool to get takeout because I have a toddler or like the curbside pickup. I've had a lot of awesome curbside pickup when I'm like, this is sweet. We don't have to get out of the
And
car.
it's way sweet, and it will never go away.
I hope it never goes away.
It won't.
You don't think?
No, I really don't. I don't think at all because maybe the people that are putting like a 10 by 10 canopy outside
Right.
and doing like a makeshift drive through, but people are going to realize that this is
Better business.
It's necessary because you need to have that backup, and people want convenience. So
Getting lazier and lazier.
yes, like for us with fast casual, like I need to make it. It's funny when I open the second line. Like you go to Texas and you go to like La Barbecue where I worked. It's still a 1 hour wait, and it's so stupid because it doesn't have to be. Like put one more cutter up there, and you can move the line twice as fast, sell more food, make people happier. It's so for me, it's always kind of been that blend. One nice thing about being in Utah is I don't have to worry about being so like snooty about the barbecue thing.
Right.
Like adding the drive-through, you don't see that a lot of barbecue joints, but it's perfect for barbecue joints because our food's cooked, by the beginning of the day and
Grab it on the way home.
right.
Yeah.
And so I think people don't want to have to worry about pivoting so much next time something like this happens, because now it's so fresh in our heads, like what else could knock everything out,
Oh my gosh.
right? So you just got to have that side of the business, especially where everybody's losing catering. And
I didn't even think about catering.
yeah, catering is a hard one. Like restaurants, a lot of places rely on catering, and that's a tough thing to lose, especially when like winter's a little slow. we Bam Bams, at least, we probably do 75% of our sales in this 6-month span, right? And then as soon as football season ends and it gets cold and dark, things drop.
That surprises me because I feel like in the winter when I'm cold,
It's
I'm like,
totally winter
let's eat
food,
some
right?
barbecue and
Thank
curl
you.
up in a corner and
But it's not.
mac and cheese.
Like if it's raining, we'll sell $1,500 less food a day. Just if it's like, a rain that sticks around. It's really interesting.
That surprises me.
So yeah, I think restaurants from here on out are going to have every avenue possible to sell food. They're going to use all the door dashes, which that sucks because you lose so much money.
Yeah.
It's 30%, 25 to 30%. So,
but I do think that after, hopefully when we go back to normal, I think people will value in like eating in a restaurant more than they did before, though.
I agree. I think getting out of the house, that experience won't go away. I still say that that's why movie theaters won't go away, because there's still something about going to the movies that's better than just watching a movie at your house. Right? And it's not even that good of popcorn.
Depends on where you go.
See,
what movie theater are you going to?
I make way better popcorn than the movie
Which movie theater is the best popcorn?
I think the Megaplex does.
Megaplex does.
Okay.
I agree with you there. But so
Do
yeah,
you put the extra butter on?
I don't know. My husband wants to just like pour
I
it
put
all
butter on every 3 inches. Like
I do a little bit.
you gotta
I like
do
it.
that. I mean, it's not butter.
That sounds
but
good now.
So have you ever had a time where you've maybe tried a restaurant that wasn't very well known, and after your review, they just kind of got like super crazy busy and they reach out to you and they're like, what did you do to us? Or like, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think sometimes a lot of these restaurant owners, unless they're like dialed into social media, I don't think a lot of them know, but I can think of 2 times that happened. Like once with St. George, there's a restaurant there. It's the number 1 spot on our guide, and now I can't think of the name of it. It was called Ermitas, and they changed names, but someone once was like, there's like 8 people in line here and they all found out about it from your website. And I was like, I'm happy,
Totally.
I'm happy. There's another place too I recently went to. It is so good. Have you guys ever had those Birria Tacos? It's kind of trending a little bit more now, at least in the
I don't
States.
even know what that is.
Me either.
So they're beef tacos, but then you take the tortilla and you basically like dip them in the juice of the beef.
The tortilla?
The tortilla. And then you cook it so it kind of firms up a little bit.
Okay.
You put the beef in there and the cheese, and then they serve it with a side of that beef juice.
Like au jus?
Like au jus. It's so good.
That's clever.
There's a place.
Like a Mexican beef. Because they call that, like Italian beef. Like you go to Chicago, you just say, give me a beef. Like it
Really?
just means a sandwich.
Okay.
Au jus,
Give me
the
a
whole
beef.
deal. Right.
So similar concept, right? Just juicy. Anyway, there's a place out in West Valley that one of my friends on social media posted, and I went there and posted about it. And
Wow.
I mean, it's at the back of this, Latino market, very hard to find. And then someone messaged me and said, there were like
So cool.
12 people here that, probably weren't just here shopping. So
Oh,
That's
for
awesome.
sure.
yeah.
Like, especially if there's a bunch of white people going in there, right? It's
Yeah.
like our taco. It's like the taco place you take me on the Taco Tuesdays, Andrew.
Yep.
I forget. It's like a little.
Los compadres.
Yeah, it's like a little supermarket in the strip mall.
They
One
have
of
the
those little
bars in the
Mexican supermarkets.
windows and the
Oh man,
awesome.
but it's so good.
Well, when I was there, everyone there was Latino, and I'm like, this is a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh,
These are going to be good
100%.
tacos. Yeah.
That's how people feel when they see that I'm 400 pounds. Like, oh, this is going to be good.
Got to be good food.
This is going to be good. But no, it because people aren't, especially here in Utah, people aren't very adventurous
Oh.
when it comes to food. Like if it's in a strip mall or some little rundown, whatever, West Valley, they're not going to go try that out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is that it? Wow. Look
No,
at that.
that's in St. George. Yeah. And Helica's. Yes. So good. Great tacos.
I've got people after me hard for St. George right now.
I thought you were
Do
going to say
it.
to make tacos. I was like,
Oh, I'd love to do. I'll do
take
tacos
tacos.
at some point.
they're so good.
Like we used to. Do you remember Tortilla Bar?
Oh, yeah. Same
Like
owners as
Oteo's?
Oteo, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's the same.
Isn't or same building. Same building they were in.
Well, no, there's
It's
some
that
like
little
family.
random
There's some
building.
like family
Yeah.
drama there. Yeah, it was just down the street from here.
Linden?
What? It's in Linden, now,
Linden?
but remember it was just like 4 blocks down the road here. The original Tortilla Bar was just down here.
I ate there.
But he did a brisket day with my brisket.
Oh
My gosh, they were so good.
Okay, that is a restaurant we talk about all the time. You've been in Texas. No one here eats breakfast tacos.
Oh, I know.
It is religion in Texas.
That's happening here at some point.
Okay, well,
Like we're putting the kitchen in finally.
we're an hour away, but we'll come.
Stop saying you're going to do and just
I am
do
going to
it.
do it. This is my process, Andrew. Okay, it's called ADHD.
I want brisket,
It happens when it
jalapeno
happens.
sausage breakfast taco burrito.
So we're going to do that at Lake Palnet this week. We're going to do
Thanks.
sorry, I'll bring one home for you.
Appreciate you.
But yeah, you're right. Like there's so many barbecue joints. Like it's a great way. Like any meat you have left over, it's cheap. Like Rudy's. Have you ever been to Rudy's barbecue? It's kind of a chain. It's the only chain that I think is halfway okay.
It's pretty good.
But I dig their, like, you just walk in.
Grab and go.
It's just grab and go, right?
Like 8 kinds of breakfast tacos, all in foil.
Oh, so
right.
that
They're a
sounds
couple
so good.
bucks.
Yep.
And
They're good.
But I always said I would never do the breakfast thing until I had a drive-through. But now that I have a drive-through, it's, because people, generally, breakfast, people want it pretty.
They want it fast.
If you can offer, like, good quality stuff, but still have it be fast, people will be all over it. And so, yeah, it's Torchy's. Did you ever go there in Austin?
Oh, yeah.
Place is amazing. This is not good. I'm so hungry right now.
I'm starving, and all I'm doing is looking at their
That's the
side.
thing. I keep looking at Female Foodie, like the pictures.
I'm looking at your donuts, by the way.
Oh,
that
those
might
donuts.
have been.
Okay, but what the listeners don't know, too, is I'm smelling brisket, which you're probably, like, immune to now.
Yeah, I don't smell it.
I'm just, like, smelling brisket and what else? Pork?
I mean, it's just you're smelling the wood right? You're just smelling oak. And so
No,
it's
I'm
funny,
smelling
that's
the
why
meat.
I have.
I'm smelling the
Well,
brisket.
I mean, obviously, but nothing in here. Like if you leave anything in here for 20 minutes, and I even have like a air filter going all the time just because it blows in through the AC.
It's
but
really obvious when it's podcast day.
Really?
oh yeah. Well, and if I take if I take one of these footballs home, you're gonna realize how yellow it is. But in here, it doesn't really look yellow. But at the walls, everything is yellow.
Because of the smoke.
Just because of the smoke. So, but it is a good smell. But it's funny. I'm finally getting to the point now. Like when I get home, I have to change my shirt because I can't handle smelling like smoke, which is really
At
interesting.
least you don't have to shower. I make my husband shower
Well,
after he smokes. I'm
like that's the thing is I mean, you can still smell on your skin, but t-shirts are like I smell it all day long and it just drives me insane. But
So what's next for Female Foodie? Where are you going with this
oh
thing?
man. So next is, I mean, we've got a lot of things up our sleeve.
Okay.
So continuing to just build the empire. The goal is to have a really good presence in all the major cities like we do in Salt Lake.
right.
Or, in Utah.
So like create more foodies in all the different locations,
Yep.
right?
Build the team, and we were on a really good roll before this spring, but just, keep building content, keep giving our readers stuff.
So I'm just curious, like, how does that work? Like why do they want to come? This might be super ignorant. Be a part of Female Foodie as opposed to starting their own version of it in that area. Like, if they're good at content, if they're already out there doing it, like, why would they want to be part of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of it's personality. I think people like to have a support of like, not everyone wants to like blaze their own path and do their own thing. So I think
look at entrepreneurs. It's such a small percent. Like, people don't want risk. The platform's there. The audience is built in.
The audience is there. All the work to like get it going. So I think that's a big thing. It's just
Is it hard to find
less
good
risk.
people?
the more we grow, the easier it gets. Like I had to be pretty, and now I pay my contributors, but in the beginning they just would do it like for free, and so I had to be pretty like, whatever.
Well, there's still value there. I mean, especially if more people are seeing their stuff than before.
Yeah, for sure. But no, most of these women don't have their own platforms. Most of them just like love food and want. A lot of them just want like to be a part of our greater mission, which is just to like they want to be the voice for their city.
Okay.
So growing that, I actually had a trip planned last month to Italy with 25 women.
Oh no.
Had to cancel
man,
it.
the Female Foodie World Tours.
The Female
That
Foodie
would be
World Tour.
awesome, actually.
No, it was all, I sold it out in December. So
Holy crap.
I'm hoping to do that next year.
You got to do barbecue crawls. That's a big deal.
In Italy?
No. No. Although I know some
Texas.
barbecuers there, but I mean, everywhere now. That's the thing.
yeah.
Barbecue is really like broken out of those regions, right?
Yeah, barbecue's in Manhattan now. And,
Some really good barbecue is in Manhattan, but it's so I mean, you could do that just in just about every city. And how cool would that be to like your fans get to go with you to 10 restaurants over 3 or 4 days?
So I haven't thought about domestic trips, but I don't know, like that's kind of the world we're living in now.
Right.
But I think because we live there and I didn't even want to do trips. People kept asking me to guide tours, and I finally was like, okay, I guess this is something we should pursue. My husband and I are launching an app this summer/fall. Yeah. So
Like, what's it going to do?
it's just going to be a easier way for people to see the content, whether it's like restaurant content or cooking demonstrations, just ad-free, super accessible content.
Cool.
So those are the big things on the horizon.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Way cool. Is there any part of this? So we've had a lot of really awesome female entrepreneurs come in. Was that always your plan, is to just have something that was a career? Like, I think your story is one of those stories that it just kind of shows that even if you are into something, you can still be even a full-time mom, right? But still create this, like you said, kind of empire and business, and it's an inspiring thing. So any advice for people that have a passion about something and are maybe a little scared to jump in?
Yeah, I think for entrepreneurs in general, or people that have like passions or side hobbies, I think it's so good for people in general to have those outlets, just to do them, just to like nourish that like creative side of themselves, because we get so caught up in like taking care of the kids or going to work. But for me, I just look at it as like, I would be doing this anyway. I might not be eating out 300 times last year, but we would still be like, that's what we would be doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think for me, I guess that would be my advice, is just like, if you have a passion, just try it. And maybe it won't work out as a business. Like maybe it's just something that is your hobby, but in the end, you'll never have lost like money or time, because you would be doing it anyway.
Well, and so many people like I never planned on having a restaurant, but I loved cooking barbecue, and it just, if you're good at it and you love doing it, it just seems to kind of evolve.
Well, think back to how many of our guests have done.
Totally.
Like, I mean, your story is freaking awesome. West Yellowstone blogger to an empire of foodies all over, but you don't have to start with that kind of end in mind. I think too many people fall victim of that.
Right. Well, and they don't remember, like, maybe we haven't talked enough about it, but I mean, this was like a slow build, right? It's not
super slow.
And it takes, you got to be consistent. But like you said, if you're doing it anyway,
yeah, I might as well.
You just keep going with it. And eventually people that have a passion about things, they're going to work harder than everybody else. We've talked about that a bunch in here, but you'll start getting noticed, right? And then it will just kind of naturally, because social media, especially, if you start getting a following and getting good, what's the word I'm looking for?
Traction, momentum.
No, when they get involved, when they
engagement.
That one. Sorry, our guru Anna. Sorry, Anna. But it's amazing how quickly you can say, man, there's something here. I love doing it. I might as well keep going with it.
For sure.
I mean, even today, like Sarah Blakely Spanks, she's like, I never had a business plan.
Oh,
I mean,
she just wanted to look good in her dress.
Yeah, I mean, it's $1 billion company now.
I don't care about her until she makes stuff for us.
She started making underwear for guys.
She did?
Oh my gosh.
She talked about it in a podcast. It's really funny. She's like, the pocket, it's awesome.
The pocket.
That's what she said.
Sidewalls. You need sidewalls.
It was pretty funny. I like her a lot. She's
one.
awesome.
Well, and then you look at her husband, like that's a lot of personality in that house.
Yeah.
But
so I'm actually curious, like, how have you found like success on like via social? Like, what have you done? I know a lot of listeners are trying to get started in social. Most people say it's different now than it was 5 years ago.
For sure.
So if you were starting today, what would you do differently or the same?
So I think the most important thing is you have to show up every day, whether you're me or Cam, or it doesn't really matter what your content is. If you want to build a following, you have to show up, because and we all do this. If we selectively follow people, you look at their account. If you see their last post is like 2018 May, you're like, I don't care how much you love that brand. You're like, it's like a waste of a follow.
I gotta get better.
So that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I love entrepreneurship, and that's why I love this podcast. Seriously. It's so fun I love to hear the stories of how people are building things. And, with Instagram specifically, that's the hot social media that people are talking about right now.
TikTok. I'm just kidding.
I'm not
totally
into TikTok,
It's
but
so ridiculous.
Are you on TikTok?
Heck no.
Are we going to make a TikTok after this?
Listen, I
With some brisket slabs?
start an account because Anna McFarlane told us to do it, but I haven't ever. Oh my gosh.
It's a crazy world.
It's just China spying on us too. We're all learning, right?
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
But
no, but I think like there's a lot of podcasts and courses about like
I mean, like when you were growing your social though, like what types of things would you do? Like just besides just posting?
I think the real key is to find like value.
Okay.
Like find what your audience, how do I say this? To figure out what value your audience derives from you.
right.
And then to just keep serving that up.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a picture of a restaurant that's high quality, so they can like really see like.
Are you still taking all the pictures yourself?
If it's my content, I take all the pictures.
Okay.
But
Your pictures are. Oh,
but
amazing.
then people see a place and a picture, and that's the value, at least on social media, that I can provide.
Yeah.
Or with cooking now, it's step-by-step tutorials. It's
Okay.
like,
See, and I love that you're doing that. The other thing that just popped in my head about that is it's always cool when people recognize how hard like restaurant people have to work to do what they do. And man, when you try to cook it and then you think that you have to do that at scale and still keep it, cooking
delicious,
keeping
warm.
like cooking one brisket, right? We were talking about that earlier.
It's so
That's
hard.
one thing, but having to cook enough for a whole day at a restaurant and have them all be as good as if I was just cooking one and just babying one. It's really hard.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that's something else that like me as a restaurant owner could I really love that you're doing the at-home recipe thing, because I think that's a really cool thing to be able to share.
Yeah. No, it's and the recipes are cool because everyone can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm in a niche where it's like it's pretty tied to geographic location, so it's been fun to see the unity. But yeah, I think people too, even if they're never going to cook it, people like to just see.
Totally.
Like I can't tell you how many Aaron Franklin YouTubes my husband's watched.
Right.
For stuff he's not even smoking.
You got to be way into it to watch an Aaron Franklin YouTube too, because he's the nicest guy, but he's
so
a
quirky.
nerd. He's such a nerd.
And it makes my husband crazy because he's like, you just know when it's done. I don't really shoot for a time or temperature. You just touch it and know. He's like, okay, well, for us, like.
He really needs to come to my class.
Yeah, he does. He would
but
love it.
that's exactly what. But Aaron is right. Like that's why chefs suck at barbecue and good barbecue cooks suck at being a chef, right? Because I just need to be able to go to La La Land while things are cooking, and you just got to let it do its thing. And so there's a lot of truth to it. But you're right. It's hard to teach somebody that.
You don't have a temperature?
No, none. It is all feel.
What temperature do you cook your brisket at?
225.
Okay.
So that's the only
We've
temperature.
tried.
But
I bought like $100 brisket for Father's Day and gave it to my husband. I was like, this is your gift.
see, you should have called me.
He loves to smoke. I should have called you.
I'll get you some briskets for cheaper for him to practice
okay.
on. You know what I mean? You
But-
don't even have to do a review.
Okay.
But if you do, it better be good. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, 5 stars, 3 stars, 3 Michelin stars.
Thank you.
But it still turned out good. Giving him a solid like B or B plus, but it wasn't like
Right. Well, and it does. It just takes practice. But again, like that's why what you guys are doing is cool, because it does give you appreciation into the work and effort and how hard it is, and sharing that with people is cool too. And I think we all like behind the scenes now, like Insta stories.
That's all everyone wants to see.
Like we had like Paige Arminta in here. She does her own photography.
Okay.
But her stories now are kind of like she does these cool pictures of movement, it catches a still, right? But then she posts like the actual, if she's juggling or whatever, she posts that in stories. And we love, people want to see what goes into, like your reviews or your
relatable.
pictures and you cooking your recipe. Like, I'm looking at this, what was it, like Pomodoro sauce or whatever. It looks so good.
Close your computer.
And and you cooked it at home, but it'd be really cool to see kind of the step. But yeah, Pomodoro sauce.
Oh, I have a highlight. Go see the highlight.
Oh, okay.
There's
So
a step-by-step.
that's perfect because you see the final product, but you don't realize, like, you don't see me in here tripping over myself at 5 a.m. and in a bad mood.
Well, and it's hard to do that, right? Like for me, when I eat out, I have my toddler and my husband, and I want to eat it hot. So I'm not good at like, hey guys,
right.
here we're ordering. Now we're eating. I'm usually like, this place was good. Here you go. But I think people want to see that. I think they want to see like.
Right.
So does your husband want to get to the point where like you guys are both full-time female foodie?
Yeah, that's the dream. I mean, my biggest worry about that as his wife is I want him to be happy. So we've talked about it and I'm like, do you want to do this? Does that sound terrible to you? And I don't think we'll know how it works until we try it.
Right.
So I think maybe someday we'll try it and see like, this is awesome or this is terrible for our marriage, but
if you could travel together for a year and a half with a child, you'll probably be okay.
He works from home.
Yeah.
And he's worked from home our whole marriage. So we spend a lot of time together.
Different.
Yeah. And it's fun too, cause we're like, he has different strengths. I mean, so I think that the key would be just to making sure we have our own domains.
Your defined roles.
Yeah. But, you guys were talking earlier about like, did you ever want to be an entrepreneur?
Right.
Like I just wanted to be like a therapist and then a mom one day. And, I just love entrepreneurship. Like the more I get into it, it's a bug. Yeah. So
for sure.
I like, we talk a lot about being able to like both like take kids to school or pick them up or traveling without, time restraints. So it's very idealistic, but
the way things are going for you, that's the thing. You probably thought your Instagram was very idealistic, right? When you had 500 followers or whatever. And now, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of an evolution. Like if you love what you're doing and you take it seriously, what you are, it's going to happen. So
is the dream to live on the road?
No, especially like with one kid, so we are living in my parents' house now. They're serving a mission. And, there are certain things that I'm really enjoying about it. Like, when you're
being home.
Yes. Like when you're in these Airbnbs, there's a lot of give and take. I'm really loving like consistent air conditioning, great Wi-Fi connections, the pulling my car in, having a car. We didn't have a car in a lot of these places, but pulling my car in and just like going straight into the house, such a luxury. Dishwashers, a nice couch. Like all these places had like these terrible IKEA couches that
for sure.
I get the chills when I see them. I'm just like, oh, I'm 6 feet tall and my husband's 6'3". Like we're big people, you know? So
you're 6 feet tall?
Yeah, I'm 6 feet.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew you were tall. I didn't know you were 6 feet tall.
Yeah. So there's certain things that I'm like, we want to own a home. Hopefully like, I don't know, next year or the year after. But, there's a lot of luxuries, but do we want to be able to be like, oh, we're going to go to Italy for a month or whatever, we would love to have that chance, but maybe not. We'll see.
Whatever. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Put it out there. It's going to happen.
Wait until some 3 Michelin star restaurant calls to, hey, come on over. We want to do a feature on us.
Do a feature. I'd have to tell them, sorry, but we don't accept comp.
I'm paying for my meal.
Yeah, I'm paying for my meal.
Well, what if they just give you a reservation? So they just cut you in front of the line a little bit.
That's
still
then
the
my
same thing?
Experience is still biased.
I guess that's
I'm like really hardcore about
and that's good. I think that's very, very important because so many people are doing it just to get the free food and just to get
which is fine.
The following.
Do you talk about that enough though? About like how hardcore you are about not.
I should talk about it more, but I do because I want people to know they can trust me.
Because I would have totally assumed that you're getting comped everything you try?
No, not after you looked at my taxes. Someone last week, I put something on Instagram like, what can we do better? And this guy said, I trust you more than Yelp and Google. Like, I know I can count on you. And I was like, that is the biggest
It's
compliment
huge.
you could give me.
Yelp, I mean,
How do you feel about Yelp, Cam?
I hope. Never mind. Oh my gosh. I mean, all reviews. It's so sad for the restaurants because people don't know how hard we work, right? And then
you're
you
at the
have
mercy
some
of
like
whoever,
and you
anyone.
have like it's amazing how many people. Whenever I read a review that says some other barbecue joint is better, and they name that restaurant, like that's just a friend of another restaurant. Not because they may be better or not better than me, but it's just obvious that
There's the bias there.
there's bias there, and even in the the rules of all these things, they say don't talk about other places inside your reviews, but there's no, unless I pay to be a member of Yelp, nobody will go in there and pull out obvious, biased reviews. And so it's a joke. And yeah, so
I think Google's
better,
better than Yelp, but
because you don't have, Google's not incentivizing you to review. Like Yelp, people want to be like
Yelp Elite.
yes, and it's the dumbest thing. And anytime people are reviewing things a lot because they think they're a food critic, most of them have never like walked in our shoes, right?
Right.
And they don't realize that it's our whole livelihood is, especially nowadays, are really tied to those things, right? So it drives me insane. So yes, like I really like this approach because I didn't know that about you yet. Like I do notice that it's in your Instagram,
Unbiased.
like your bio thing, just unbiased restaurant reviews, but that's a big deal. And I think you'll have a lot of chefs and restaurants really appreciating your reviews more just because they know that they had to earn it.
Yeah, and it's fun. It feels better. It feels like I don't want to say that if you take comped meals or you set something up, there's nothing wrong with that, but it feels really good to like wholeheartedly just like support a business because you're like,
Right.
You guys are awesome. We love what we're doing, instead of feeling like a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Well, and like I said, we know that if you say something good, we earned it. Like you're not going to say anything just because they're your friend or they were nice to you or gave you a free meal.
Right.
And that's a big deal too. So anyway,
The other thing we've learned is no news is not good news from her because she's not going to talk about the bad stuff.
Yeah. If someone like sends me an email or a DM, I'll be straight with them. But it's the same thing as leaving a bad Yelp review. Like I do not want to be the person to blast
right.
a place. It's a terrible feeling.
Right. And there's so much negativity out there already. It kind of is the whole, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. And I like that approach because it is hard. Like if you come here and don't like it, that's fine. But to get on there and put like a 1 or 2 stars and then just go off on some tangent
Oh,
when you've never
Yeah.
cooked barbecue in your life.
Well, what's so weird, it's like, it's your opinion, right?
Right. And it's
It's different than like a physical product. It's like, hey, I ordered from the store and this showed up broken and cracked and the packaging was off. Like that deserves
right.
a review, but like when it's food and it's so subjective, it's just like
Totally is.
you
And
had a bad day and you didn't like it. And so
you should never give under a 3-star. Like same with when I judge barbecue, right? You'd be blown away at how many people do like 1s, like the bottom score.
that's cold.
And you should get a 5 just for getting food turned in. It's a lot of work. You're out there risking, That's the other thing. Like people that do 1s, you took the time to give somebody a 1 or 2 star review and actually write about it. It's just you're a miserable person.
Usually though, those 1-star reviews are not about the food. They're usually like, my server
Yes.
forgot to refill my Coke and I waited 30 minutes, or just something really petty it's not really like a true reflection of the owner, the product
Right.
they're putting out.
Well, a lot of it's, I'll never forget. I got a 1-star review once, and it said they served everything on paper, and it was pure. Like after you're done, the paper was just covered in grease. And I'm like, you stupid idiot.
You're like,
That's
it's
the whole
how
point
it's
of what I'm
supposed to be.
doing. You're
Yeah.
rendering fat out of. Anyway, it drives me insane. But that review is still there. Like there's
Still.
nothing I could do. And so
What's her name?
I don't remember. This was like 3 years ago, but I don't
Yeah.
even look at reviews anymore. I can't because it just gets me so frustrated. And so anyway, yeah, it's a crazy thing.
So where can everybody find you?
Our website's Female Foodie. We're on Female Foodie on all social media channels.
Okay.
Not my eats, my thoughts anymore.
Not my eats, my thoughts.
You need to start a section called My Eats, My
I'm
Thoughts.
gonna
my
start saying
gosh.
it says I eat my thoughts.
That's what someone told me. Is it sounds like I eats my thoughts. I'm just
Eats
like,
my
oh.
thoughts. No, female food. It's so funny because that's such a good name, Female Foodie.
Literally 5 seconds.
Isn't that funny?
I've now got my dad's actually a patent attorney, so
Oh, he
we've
is?
got
Really?
the name
I need to
protected
talk
and
to him.
everything. Yeah. But yeah, just literally no premeditated brand strategy just came to my mind.
So cool.
I love that. So cool.
So before you eat, check it out.
Yes.
Get the unbiased opinion of where to go.
Oh, top 10 lists, great pictures.
And where's the first place we're going based off of her recommendations today?
Oh, I want to take you to that Salt Lake biscuits.
I want to
Sweet
go
Lake
get that
biscuits.
place.
Sweet Lake briskets.
So yeah, start there.
Biscuits. Gosh,
Start there.
Okay, that's where we're
it's
going.
So good.
So
I
good.
can't wait. Well, you need to come back as soon as you figure out what's next with, if you like move to Europe or whatever.
Yeah.
We want to
Switzerland.
hear all
she
about it.
she's
Or
going
the
to
second
move to
you hire
Europe and
your
come
husband
back.
Okay.
and you're his boss, bring him in.
We will.
We've had some great Instagram, like Susie, Susie very well, Todd Bullock, Hey Grill
Oh
Hey.
yes, she's
Like, it's
amazing.
a great example of,
Her and Todd.
yep. Like
They are
such
awesome.
just such a fun pair. He is her biggest fan, but he does a ton. Well, I mean, we've had a bunch actually.
There's been a lot of couples that work
Right.
together now.
So yeah, it'd be awesome. But man, we wish you luck.
Thank you for coming
thanks,
on.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
Good luck
on.
with
This was
everything.
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you guys. Had so much fun.